What is going on, guys? Sorry for the delay. Welcome to another edition of 407 Rangers. It is your host, Raymond Tapia. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and a comment, and turn on notifications when I'm about to go live, upload highlights, and do a post community, things like that. Sorry, guys. I literally been all over the place. Like the weekend was just very interesting. I mean, my little brother was in town, so everybody kind of like gathered around and hung out, and then like ended up being like in a Magic and Lakers game. It was just a lot. Then yesterday, like I saw the game, but I didn't even get a chance to hop on the freaking laptop to go live or anything because like I was barely, and I mean barely at the house. So today I finally have like the free time and opportunity. My little brother went back to West Palm Beach, but now I can actually sit here and talk about yesterday's game. I mean, yesterday's game wasn't too bad, but Dylan Garand finally got his debut. I mean, it took him 6 seasons to finally get his chance to show freaking what he can do. Because Jonathan Quick's age has definitely been showing this season, and I'm just it's about time they finally came to the realization that maybe it's just not a good idea to give Quick another extension, which I'm not knocking Jonathan Quick. You guys know Jonathan Quick's still one of my favorite backup goalies, even though he did us dirty in 2014. You know, Jonathan Quick is still one of the greatest goalies to have ever like put on a freaking NHL jersey. So his achievements is definitely like he's done a lot. He did good with Columbus, and then he did good with Vegas, and he got a cup with Vegas. So he's chilling. Like he's literally chilling. Like after this season, I would not be surprised if Jonathan Quick can finally hang up the skates and he's gonna finally retire because you've done enough, man. You've done enough. Trust me. Like you don't have to prove any more to this team. You truly don't because we already know how good you were and still is. And I know some games he had to this season they weren't the best, but at the same time, it was predictable. It's like, come on, guys, you guys know that Jonathan Quick's up there. He's 40 years old and still goaltending in the NHL game. Like the longevity and the endurance to have for that kind of shit, like it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So if anything, I'd rather Jonathan Quick be the mentor for Dylan Garand for the rest of the season because at this point you might as well you're not making the playoffs. So you're better off just still trying to let these younger guys figure it all out and then you just simply go from there for next season. Because like I said, I don't know what's the point of them trying to, go for this push. Like they're gonna somehow sneak into the wild card when we all know damn well that is not happening. It's not happening at all. And right now, like I said, with Dylan Garand, that's the best thing to happen right now is to get him going so he can be the next backup goalie for the next upcoming season because you're gonna need him. You're gonna need him. I was surprised that Spencer Martin didn't get called up, but I guess they believe in Dylan Garand. So, which I know he wasn't the best in Hartford, but yesterday it definitely showed that if you give him a chance, he might actually be able to keep up in an NHL game. So it was interesting to see that he everybody. I'm sure everybody predicted that he was gonna like freaking score like get 3 or 4 goals scored on him, but surprisingly, he only had 3 goals due to the shutout. But other than that, Garand was not doing too bad at all for a debut. So I will give him his credit that Dylan Garand actually managed to keep up with the pace of a game like the NHL because you all know when it comes to the AHL, that's a developmental league. Like people think like you get drafted to the NHL and then you can just jump ship right into the games. That's not how it works at all, man. The only player when it comes to the draft the only player that's gonna see any type of like ice time in the NHL like directly is the first pick. No other pick is gonna see NHL ice time unless that the other top three picks are somehow too good and they feel like they don't even need to push them into the AHL. They can go right into the NHL, and that rarely, and I mean rarely happens that you end up seeing the first and the second pick go right into the NHL. It used to happen back then. Don't get me wrong. Back then, when it came to the drafting, they would actually have a lot more first rounders going right into the NHL rather than them having like the one and only first pick go and then everybody else ends up getting AHL time and you're not going to see them till like next year. So back then it was completely different, but now the way it's set up and the way these younger guys are moving, yeah, you definitely have to go. If you're not a first pick, you definitely got to go to the AHL and get your development going. It's and Gabe Perreault is another one too. Like he wasn't a first pick. I believe he was like he was 21st or like a 20th pick, something like that. And he ended up signing an entry level contract. However, what got him into the NHL quicker was the fact that he was already playing for Boston College. So Boston College was pretty much like that part of the AHL process for the New York Rangers when it comes to Gabe Perreault. That's how he managed to get into the Rangers a lot more faster, rather than him going like directly to Hartford. So he did have a couple of games with the Wolfpack. Yes, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he did not even play any AHL hockey at all. That's not the case. What I was saying is Gabe Perreault's situation. The reason why he got into the Rangers quicker was because, like I said, he was already playing Division One hockey, and sometimes when you're playing Division One hockey, it's pretty much like an AHL type of developmental process because you are in a way playing against upcoming NHL prospects and guys who were pretty much the top hockey players for the country or certain different parts of the world, and they just happen to play Division One college. So that is definitely like that's why you see other players go that route sometimes too. And pretty soon, I mean, the way it's going, if they're gonna start adding like the NIL contracts and things like that, you're gonna definitely start seeing a lot more like younger guys from high school rather than them going to like OHL and freaking WHL and things leagues like that. They can just go right into the NCAA and already start seeing a paycheck playing for college hockey. So yeah, OHL and all those other leagues that usually have those upcoming NHL prospects that get drafted, they definitely are going to have to step it up and start either paying them a little more or give them better like incentives because soon, like I said, NCAA hockey it's going to start getting to that level of where like people that already play like college basketball, men's, even women, some of them they actually get paid. Think like now with the whole NIL deals and things like that, that's already converting into the hockey world when it comes to the NCAA. So yeah, those other leagues better watch out and they better start stepping their game up because, like I said, soon you're gonna start hearing a lot more upcoming hockey players going to play NCAA D1 rather than going to the QHL and all those other leagues. So we'll see how it turns out. But also they did give Drew Fortescue a 3-year entry level contract. He is a defenseman. They're not going to put him into the team right away. He's just going to most likely be, from what I've seen, the way the deal was, he's pretty much going to be like playing for the practice team. So he's going to be attending New York Rangers practices, but he's also going to be playing for the Hartford Wolfpack. So it's pretty much like a two-way kind of deal where he's going to practice with the Rangers, but he's going to be playing out in Hartford. So we'll see how that turns out because we're not going to probably see him till like next season or after, depending on how quick he develops or how good he plays in Hartford. He might get called up next season And next thing you know, you'll see him have his debut with the New York Rangers. So we'll be on the lookout for that. There's no telling if he's going to be Braden Schneider's replacement. I'm not too sure, but we'll see what happens. I mean, he's not too bad of a player. He'll probably be more like a solid third or fourth pairing kind of guy because I'm sure they're not going to try to break up the Gabriel Carbon Fox pair. So we'll see how that turns out. I mean, maybe pair him up with Scott Morrow. I don't even know. Like, I truly don't know what Chris Drury is doing here. You know, I know he's constructing a whole different type of retooling roster, but I truly don't know exactly what it is just yet. I just know these younger guys are finally getting an opportunity, and they're probably going to start figuring out who's going to be a better fit for the next upcoming season. So Mike Sullivan most likely is putting the puzzles and pieces together. There's no way in hell he thinks that they're going to the playoffs. I know for a fact. But so we can't put the blame on Sullivan either, guys. Like I said, Sullivan was fully aware of what he was signing up for. He just took that big contract, man, and you know, Chris Drury and Mike Sullivan are good buddies. But let's go ahead and talk about the game because I know I've been like rambling about all this other stuff rather than the Jets game itself. I mean, the Jets game, it wasn't it all right. The Jets were dominating, don't get me wrong, but I will give credit to the New York Rangers for once again at least putting a little more of a fighting effort, even though they were outshot clearly, because the Jets outshot them by almost like 20 shots. And this is what I mean. The Rangers still want to keep playing this physical hockey, but it still does like if they like I said guys, if they reduced some of the physicality and put it towards the puck dumping and chasing and a lot more better puck passing, they would actually steal and sneak one of these games too if they were actually doing that a lot more. Because the face-offs, they were still winning face-offs by 4 because it was 30 to 34. And for the power play opportunities, they had a power play goal, but so did the Winnipeg Jets as well. But the Rangers just got to stop drawing all these penalties. That's their biggest problem. That's why these teams have so many easy goals. It's not just the 5v5. The reason why these games get so tough for them to win is because they draw so many silly penalties that at some point those penalties you draw is gonna bite you in the ass. And the how many games have you seen that? How many games have you guys seen where the Rangers draw a penalty, and then next thing you know, the opposing team they got themselves the most easiest power play goal. Sometimes they got a power play goal right off the fucking face-off draw. They win the face-off, and then boom, it goes right into the net, right off the draw. So the Rangers just next season, what they need to work on is way more discipline when it comes to like trying to not draw as many penalties because if they do that, it would literally avoid so many power play goals for them getting scored on if they just simply learn to not draw as many penalties. Because it would not surprise me one bit if they're like either top 5 or top 10 in the league and the penalties drawn. It wouldn't surprise me if they lead the league in that. Not one bit, because I see this. I know this team too damn well. I see how they play every game, and like I said, every game you guys seen it. They always get a power play goal. Now, granted, yes, they had a couple of shutout victories, cool, but a lot of the times, come on, man, you guys seen how it's been for this team. Now, for the penalties, they did, like I said, they drew 4, and the Jets had only 3. And for the block shots, the Rangers had 12, the Jets had 9. The takeaways, the freaking Rangers had 5, the Jets had 3. For your giveaways, Rangers had 20, man. 20 fucking pizzas. They were the Ninja Turtles yesterday, somehow just staying in it. And the Jets only had 11, but just absolutely bonkers. Wow. All right, guys, I am looking at this. I'm actually blown away that the attendance was this much. So I'm looking at the ESPN app with the stats, and it says here that for the attendance there were 17,349 fucking people that went. Holy shit. Bless y'all souls, man. Bless y'all souls. 17,000. Oh, bless y'all hearts, man. Like, that's crazy. That is absolutely bonkers. 17,000 people. Like, man, look, like I said, you guys want James Dolan to not be owning this team, but yet 17,000 people keep going to these fucking games, man. 17,000. I don't know, man. Some people like I said, some people they just love the Rangers, good or bad, and I can't knock them for being a for show like you can't. I'm not gonna tell you how to fan, plain and simple. But damn, that's crazy, bro. 17,000 people really went, and for the home record, they're still at 9, guys. They still haven't given y'all 10 yet. They haven't even reached the 10th home victory. Like that's crazy that they might actually get it tonight though. We will see depending on how they play against the Senators because the Sens are looking to stay in the hunt and they're not even too far from the wild card either. So they're right under Detroit because now the Islanders, ever since the Bruins beat the Red Wings the other day, Red Wings got themselves right off the wild card spot, and ironically, the New York Islanders are right back in it. So now it's the Bruins and Islanders in the wild card spot. This is crazy, man. Who would have thought there would be a day where I'm saying the Columbus fucking Blue Jackets are going to make the playoffs? That is, that's crazy. I mean, more power to them because you know what? You guys know that that organization has been through so much, especially after the Johnny Goudreau incident. Like, I'm actually kind of like happy for that organization that they're kind of in a better direction, and it seems like they're gonna keep doing it for Johnny. And that city definitely needs that. They definitely need like some new hope and things like that, because after that devastating tragedy, I already know like a lot of the fan base over there, they were completely like heartbroken and just devastated, and I don't blame you guys one bit because when I heard that incident 2 years ago, that was just excuse me, that was very unfortunate. Like, and he was really like surprisingly the only like he chose to go there. So I'm like I said, I'm glad that they are playing this good and they are starting to feel like Johnny Goudreau is still in spirit with them in the locker room. And God bless Johnny Goodrich so, but we all know like if he was still here, he'd be absolutely happy with how this team's been going and things like that. And I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's watching above them and he is absolutely smiling and loving every bit of what this Columbus Blue Jackets season has been going. So more power to them for that because like I said, guys, they definitely needed that. So shout out to the Blue Jackets for being a redemption team, and now they're actually going to be in the playoffs after like almost 10 seasons. Red Wings, though, guys, whew, man, I'm telling you right now, if they don't make the playoffs, Steve Eiserman, whew, that damn, that GM right there, man, he better figure it out soon because this team has no business not trying to work their way into the wild card. This is going to be like another season where they were right there and then they were 1 point away and they didn't make the playoffs once again and they had a good team. So they definitely got to get it together. Now, as far as the Rangers, the only team that's going to somehow maybe outdo them horribly in the standings, believe it or not, is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Somehow, this team is trying to work its way into being dead last in the East. And they are almost there, guys. They're almost there. Right now, they're 29 and 29. So if they lose even 2 more games and the Rangers somehow win one out of these like next couple of games, which surprisingly, ironically, they got to see them on the road Wednesday. They actually play the Toronto Maple Leafs on Wednesday. if the Maple Leafs somehow keep losing these games, the Rangers are no longer going to be dead last in the East. It's going to basically be the Toronto Maple Leafs, which is fucking shocking. Absolutely shocking to me. And I get it. Like, the whole Gudis incident caused Austin Matthews, unfortunately, to have a season ending injury when he got hit in the knee. Which, I ain't going to lie, guys. I really do feel like 5 games wasn't enough. Like, that to me should have been like, you should have been suspended for the whole season when it comes to those type of plays, because we all know that was a greasy garbage hit check. Like, that wasn't needed. Everybody and anybody, you don't even have to play hockey to know like that hit was a dirty hit. So yeah, I feel for the Maple Leafs, but at the same time, I don't feel bad because you guys know Steve Dangle has been trolling the shit out of this team, but now it's like, well, my friend, the tables have turned. Now, your Toronto Maple Leafs have become us. They're one of us. The Maple Leafs have officially become one of us. So yeah, like I feel, and the crazy part was like that the Brandon Carlo trade that bit them in the ass so badly because my God, did you guys need that first round pick for this year more than ever? And now that your season has completely turned around, I know they're looking back at that trade like, why did we land Brandon Carlo here if we needed that draft pick? They definitely needed that pick way more than Brandon Carlo because now look, you don't even know if you're going to get a first rounder this year. There's a chance you're going to get it next year. So now you're going to be tanking for late rounders. That's the, like, do you know how fucked up that is, man? To have a path like that to where your team's bad, and even if it's bad, you're not going to get any first rounders because you already gave them all the way to other teams. So now you're going to be stuck with late round draft picks, and then there's a chance you're not even going to see these guys play for like God knows how many seasons because I don't know how the Toronto Marlies developmental system is set up over there, but I know for a fact that if you're a Maple Leafs fan, I don't blame you one bit for crashing out with what's been going on and how it's going and where it's going. Because for the Rangers, we know they're going to suck. We know. But we know it's not going to be forever either. Because, like I said, these young guys, they're going to be the ones who actually turn it around for the New York Rangers. And we all know there's still upcoming prospects that still got to get their chances in Hartford. So there's more guys on the rise, and for all we know, we're going to probably get some more lightning in a bottle kind of younger players. And that's what I'm hoping for with the New York Rangers. That is exactly what I'm hoping for. That we get more like Gabe Peralt's and Noah Labas, and all of a sudden they get some random waiver claim like another Ty Cartier type of situation. Because that'd be amazing, absolutely. But let's talk about like the whole game and how the whole, pretty much how the game started. I mean, from here in the first period, Adam Lowry when he hit the goal and Verardi and Freddie had the assist on that play, I already like that's when I was like, whew, here we go. It's gonna be that kind of game. But the Jets did start it off. However, like I said, guys, Ty Cartier, my God, the biggest steal for Chris Drury. And you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I'm not mad at this one. Nope, I'm not mad at this one bit. This was the craziest waiver claim I've ever seen him do. This man Ty Cartier has been. It looks like he's been playing more than he has with the Kraken. That's the craziest part. This guy has been producing so damn well, man. So damn well. He already has 6 goals, 10 assists. He already has more points than what he's been doing this season. 16 points. And he did that in a couple of games with the Rangers. Already gained 16 points. That's why I'm so hyped. I'm like, man, this man is an absolute steal. Like the man got claimed and scored 16 points already. Absolute steal. But he ties the game for the Rangers, and there I was like, all right, there might be some hope here. There's an actual chance that they're gonna probably stay in it. But as I said, the penalty was drawn, and Gabriel Ferrari did score a power play goal. Kyle Connor and Josh Morrissey had the assist on that power play goal. But then Mika Zibanejad did answer with a power play goal of his own, and thankfully that did tie the game up. And that's when I was like, all right, now we might either win this game or we're gonna get a point. It's gonna go either way. Let's see how this goes. And sure enough, they go to overtime. They had a couple of chances, but they whiffed on some shots, and they actually. I thought they were gonna get a power play in the overtime, but I'm not gonna lie, the refs they were on some weird shit too. Like they weren't giving the Rangers as many calls as they gave the Jets. Like, yeah, I get it. The Jets had one more call than the Rangers, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like the refs missed like at least like three trips, tons of cross checkings, shit like that. Cause hella high sticks too, man. Because my God, it was like the Jets were getting away with murder yesterday. It was absolutely insane. But the shootout, they end up going to the shootout, and Kenny Albert, you got to stop hexing these players because Kenny Albert, of course, puts the jinxes. Vinny Trocek saying, "Oh, Vincent Trocek, it's 3 for 3 in the shootout." And I was like, "What are you fucking doing? Why are you putting that in the air? He's gonna miss now because you just said that." And sure enough, Vinny Trocek tried to go for the backhander, missed just by a little bit. He almost hit the backhand goal, but either way, the Rangers would have probably not have won that shootout because regardless, the Jets ended up scoring 2 goals in that shootout. So the Jets did get the 2 points. The Rangers had gained their first point. However, like I said, guys, I'm not mad at it. I was impressed with Dylan Garand and how he played. Obviously, he's most likely not going to play today because I'm sure Igor Shesterkin is going to be behind the net. But like I said, guys, yesterday Dylan Garand's debut wasn't too bad. I mean, the fact that he only allowed 3 goals rather than debuting and having like 10 goals happen, I'll take that over that any day. Like, so hopefully we get to see more of Dylan Garand because Mike Sullivan would be absolutely criminal to sit here and think like how he played wasn't a decent performance. I mean, if I'm Sullivan, I'm at least I'm considering giving Garand a shot because, like I said, guys, he had 35 saves. He only allowed 2 goals during the regulation, and his save percentage was at 946. He damn near had 1,000, man. So this guy is definitely not a bad upcoming backup goalie, and that's what's gonna pretty much happen. It's gonna be like a position fight between Spencer Martin and Dylan Garand on who's gonna get the backup spot. But like I said, I prefer Dylan Garand. Yes, I get it. Spencer Martin did play a couple of games because Jonathan Quick was injured, and he did steal a couple of games out of for the Rangers, but Garand to me looks like he'll probably have more of a shot because to me, like I said, even though Martin is already had way more experience playing a couple of more games, it's still time to give Garand a shot because Garand has been drafted from this team by 2020. He's been playing with the Wolfpack for a very long time, and for me, you gotta at least have like when you're trying to go to the NHL from the AHL, the minimum like you're supposed to at least be in the AHL for at least 3 seasons tops to work your way into being an NHLer. By then, if you're already past 4 seasons, by the time you get to the NHL, your prime years are not gonna fully be there. Like you'll have like between a 7 or 5 year gap of your prime, because by the time you get to the NHL from being an AHLer and you're already like 27, maybe 26 years old, you already have 4 years left until you reach the 30s. And everybody knows in the NHL world, once you start reaching the late 30s, that's like pretty much old in the hockey book. But hockey, it is different. I get it. Like some people play till they're 40 years old, some damn near 45. So depending on how endured and the longevity, it is possible. I mean, Yamor Yager just now retired, and he's been playing fucking hockey since God knows how long. And he retired, I believe, at almost like 60 years old. I think he was like he's like 58 or 57 right now. He's up there, but he finally retired from professional hockey. So I know hockey is a whole different game, but depending on, like I said, how strong that player is, how many like injuries they probably haven't gotten or things like that. Because that's another factor too, like the injuries. If you have a whole bunch of injuries, that can also be like that can be bad for your career as well. Because sometimes it could be like injuries that pile up and you get one injury and all of a sudden your career is done. So that's the other sad and unfortunate part of hockey as well. If you don't take care of yourself enough, like good enough, you could definitely end up getting like something very dramatically unfortunate happening to you. But I don't wish that on no hockey player or any of that. But like I said, you gotta always be prepared for what's to come trying to be an NHLer. But as always, y'all, I really appreciate y'all for watching. I'm gonna finally get these highlights on the way because I know y'all been waiting for me to upload them. And tonight I'm gonna actually, be here, more available, and I'll be on time with the recap right after the Senators game. We'll see how it turns out. I mean, like I said, guys, hopefully these younger players they keep, you know, showing getting their shine on. I mean, what I want to hope for is Noah Laba coming back soon because as you can see, now that Noah Laba is injured, you could definitely tell like they miss his grittiness and his toughness and things like that because Noah Laba definitely has been a very impactful young player for the New York Rangers. And you guys are seeing it firsthand that without Laba, they can't really win too many games, even though Ty Cartier is doing his best and Gabe Perrault and Lafreniere and Mika Zibanejad and guys like that. So let's hope for a speedy recovery and a quick return for Noah Laba because, like I said, I already miss watching him play, and he's been fun to watch all season. So let's hope that he's going to be in the lineup very soon. Hopefully by tonight, but we'll see what happens. But as always, y'all, thank y'all for watching. Hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys right after the Senators game tonight.